Hey, in my last video, I reviewed the DZO Vespid primes, which one of the features and benefits that I put to this is that in the PL, when you have the PL mount installed, you're able to utilize DZO's rear filter system called the KOOP. It's pretty easy to install onto your PL mounts. It only works with the Vespid primes and the Kata Ace zooms in PL mount. It doesn't work on the EF mount or anything like that. As you can see, I've got one of the filters here and it just magnets on. Super simple, super easy. I've got the creative set, which comes with mist, blue streak filter, DIY bokeh, and that's it. And then there's a standard set that comes with a clear filter, ND4, which is 1 stop, ND8, which is 2 stops, and ND16, which is 3 stops. Pretty cool to see DZO kind of turn things on its head and come out with this system. I'm typically not a huge fan of really proprietary sets of filters. I don't like the Polar Pro matte box because you have to use their specific filters. But I don't know, something about this setup just seemed really natural, and I love the fact that like it's just built in and it's just ready to go. I wouldn't use the NDs because it's better to, I find it more easy and more workflow efficient to have your NDs on the front, because if you're not even if you're running and gunning, but like if even in commercial sets, there's sometimes where you're just like go and you just need to throw your whatever ND you have on the front, you just need to get it off and hand it to an AC or whatever. And if you have to take off the lens and take off the filter, then it just slows you down tremendously. But the artistic set I do like. Like I said, I've got the mist here, just pops right on. And mist is something that you're gonna run all day. Same with blue streak filter. It's nothing that you're gonna like take on and off depending on the shot, most likely. Which is another reason why I really enjoyed and really liked the idea of going with the artistic set. Now, the DIY filter, it comes with the DZO logo D, the lightning bolt, a question mark, heart, and some things like that. And they're really hokey. They remind me of Flickr circa 2006. But I thought about the DIY aspect of the name of the filter. And so I went to the Cricut and cut out just this really small oval shape, 2:1 circle, using cardstock, and just put it in the filter. It has this 2 parts to it that just screws together. And so here's the paper you can see here, and it just pops in and screws on. Really simple. Much like anything, it has pros and cons. Pros, it changes the look to your lens completely. It really adds a ton of vignetting. It also introduces focus breathing. So it does this really weird thing with the focus, is that you add this iris that's smaller, yet you're shooting wide open. So like you get that shallow depth of field typically, but like along the edges, it is acting like this is like an f8. So it does this really strange thing to your focus. A couple of cons is that it deepens your depth of field because this iris is a little bit smaller than your 2.1, which if you're shooting wide open, which is another con, is that you have to shoot wide open with this, because as you close in on your iris, you just see the oval shape, which leads me to another kind of con, is that you lose about 1.5 stops of light. So it's kind of like you get these cons, but also workarounds. Like you have to shoot wide open at 2.1, but you lose 1.5 stops of light. So you would have to shoot at 2.1 anyway. So it's this kind of weird ecosystem that works together. I do really enjoy this, and I usually keep it on. It's actually feels weird. Like in my head, I've built the DZO Vespids to look like it does whenever I have this filter on there, and that's what I see in my mind. So if I'm going for the Vespids, I think of that like vintagey, vignette-y look. However, I can pop it off and I'm like, holy crap, I have so much more light. It's so clean. Like, this is a really, like, I don't know, just clean lens. And they are clean lenses. I mentioned that in my last video. Here are a couple shots using each of the filters. The mist is a quarter strength. So if you're used to using Tiffin Black Pro Mist or other mist filters along that range, it's about quarter strength. The blue streak filter, we obviously associate this with anamorphic style. You can throw on those 240 bars, 239 bars, whatever, and like it's going to make you feel like you're in an anamorphic sci-fi flick. Personally, the blue streak is my least favorite aspect of anamorphic lenses. I prefer the really weird rounding shapes, the interesting fall off. That's what I prefer when it comes to anamorphics. Here's the anamorphic filter put on, and you can see that fall off. You can see the focus breathing, you can see the vignetting, and just how the center of frame really pops with that vignette and just that overall feel and how focused it feels, which I really enjoy. And if you want to do the anamorphic filter yourself and you've got the artistic set of KOOP filters, I'll put up some measurements here that I use personally, and then a couple that I tried out with and just found that the middle one was the happy medium. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you learned something. I hope you took away something. I hope you stick around if I happen to make more videos, you know? Yeah, see you in the next one. Peace.